Hey folks, welcome back. Week 3, 4, whatever it is. Fourth video. Yeah. So, year 3, 2002. Again, same maze as the last two, but different character. Again, they had changed up the maze. I believe it was 2001 when they did that. Or it might have been 2002, the year I'm looking now. Where they added 13 ghosts and movie 7. So this year I ended up going back to our rehire event, which every year, I think I mentioned it last video, every year after your first year they send you a postcard in the mail that says we invite you to come back and be rehired for the event. So you pretty much got the job, but you still have to go through all the paperwork stuff for HR, legal reasons. But otherwise, you're pretty much a shoo-in. So, one thing we used to do, again, I'm not sure if they do it anymore, but the nights that they have, or the days they have the rehire events, are listed on the paper that you get in the mail. It's usually all the same couple days. It's like the same week. So we'd all gather the night before the first day, a good 12, 16 hours before, and camp out. And I did this almost every year without fail. No sleeping was done, really. We would all just sit and BS all night with everybody. You know, almost 1,000 people probably in line. And we all, if we weren't friends, we were at least really good acquaintances. All of us. Let's just say there was lots of Monsters and Red Bulls and rock stars flowing those nights. And lots of smoking. Fortunately, there was a 24-hour gas station on the corner, so anyways. So I go to the rehire event. I obviously want to go back to the same maze. But they said, do you want to do the same character or do you want a different one? And obviously, I mean, I had done, 2 years of the same character. I mean, let's change it up. And so I decided to do the serial killer from 7, which obviously they just put you in a jumpsuit and a mask. It was a messy looking mask, bald mask with a thick Pancho Villa kind of mustache. I think it was supposed to be your generic bad guy, thug kind of mask. And then there was another guy in the same room. He had a different mask, but so there was like two or three of us in there. Like 2 of us that were in there constantly. That one guy would do our breaks. I think is how it works. But yeah, that was a fun year. Let's see. I'm not going to do the maze overview again because it's the same, except for they added the 2 rooms. 7 was at the end of the maze this year, though. So what I didn't mention is, because it didn't matter at the time, when you exit the maze, because it's in a building, if you're familiar with the park, if you're from Southern California or have been here and been to the park, and if you know the building I'm talking about, the exit out of it, at least how it was set up then, leads out a path behind, looks like behind another building, and then into the graveyard. Yes, there's a graveyard set up in the park all year long, because it's a Old West ghost town. So they have your Boot Hill graveyard, like Magnificent Seven, the original. Have you seen that? You know, that kind of. So that's always there. That's just a thing. That comes into play later. So the whole run is great. You know, we got it set up. The 7 room is set up. You walk in. There's a bathtub on one side. There's just like a wall, like a curtain, like it's a hideout curtain for like a monster to hide behind on the other side. But over the bathtub, if you remember the scene in the movie where he's got all the little air fresheners hung up over the dead guy in the one scene. Well, they have something like that set up, but they also have. I think it's when they break, when Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt finally get into the apartment, and they have all the photos everywhere. They have like that kind of on the wall or hanging over, like they're drying, like photo drying over the bathtub. And it's just, and the bathtub looks like it's dirty. I mean, it's all paint, but it looks like bloody and gunky and dirty and just gross. You know, the whole room kind of has that motif. And then he's got a fridge in the room, and then you walk around, there's a table. You get around the corner, so your right side. And sorry, I heard a noise outside. I'm not sure it was the horses messing, like walk around at 2 in the morning, or bump into the fencing, I don't know. But or light thunder. We've had storms the last few nights here. Anywho, around the table there's an animatronic of a very large man, the fat guy from the movie. And it's an animatronic guy going up and down, and his face into a bowl of spaghetti or some kind of whatever, you know, whatever got drowned in the movie. And then you had us running around doing our thing. And there were all kinds of different little props. Like there was a mounted deer head, like a small one, on the wall. I'm not sure if it was real or fake. It doesn't matter. But it ended up falling off the wall. So what I did, because I thought it was funny, because I was not trying to scare you. I like to make jokes. I used to be kind of more morbid, disturbing jokes, but still jokes. So I grabbed it by the antler, and I'd run up to people and be like, "I killed Bambi," or "I killed Bambi's mother," whatever. And I got a lot of laughs. Some girls were like, "Oh, you monster!" Well, thank you. I'm a monster, you know, obviously, kind of thing. One of my friends, I alluded to something like this in another video, I think my first or second video, but this is the one I was alluding to, the 01. Guy I know, great guy, whatever. He's gay. Not my. I'm not, but he is. No big deal. I'm an ally. Whatever. He walks up to me, not knowing it's me, and he starts flirting and gives me a kiss on the cheek. And then another friend of ours who knew it was me kind of went and told him afterwards, and he just kind of got this like disgusted look on his face because I'm not his type. So I thought it was just hilarious. But yeah, so like that was funny. I made a few people have accidents that year. Yellow and brown. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had a lot of fun that year. We'd run around. We weren't supposed to slide in the mazes, but I attempted it. I got some cheap knee pads and, you know, a couple feet here and there. We had a lot of room in that room to work. I mean, there was props set up, but there was still room for us to move. And then the other guy, he acted like a straight man, and I come out and do whatever, you know, comedy bit, whatever. Sometimes get people going, or he would distract them and I'd get them, that kind of thing. Oh, excuse me. And okay, I love everybody, so don't take this the wrong way. But people that scared the easiest were punk ass kids who come through and say they ain't scared of nothing. Especially want to be gangsters. Yeah. Put them in their place real quick. And then grown ass black men. Now I love you all. Okay? Don't get me wrong. Some of my best friends. You know? Like, I love the culture, I love everything about, you know. But y'all scare easy. Grown ass man, bigger than me, like at my size now. I had him running and crying like a baby. Here, the graveyard comes in handy. I chased him out the maze into the graveyard. I think he tripped, or maybe just went down and was huddled up against one of the gravestones crying, begging me to leave him alone and to stop, you know, whatever, blah blah. And I'm like, I had to stop and laugh. Like, I broke character. I just was like, I mean, I didn't break character and like unmask or anything, but I broke character and started laughing. And I think I had to help the guy up, and he kept going on his way after he realized, you know, whatever. But once he got over himself, but and I'm only saying this out of experience, not out of any bad place. Because like everybody else, I mean, yes, everyone gets scared, and it may be just the reactions I get from the black community, but you guys seem to just get scared easier, but still laugh about it and enjoy it. So it wasn't like you're really scared, but you know, you enjoy it, but you still, the reaction to it is just great, and it feeds us just, and I go harder on the next guy, like, or girl, or kid, or whoever. And when I say kid, I mean like teenager, when parents would bring their little kids, I would tend to back off because that's just not cool. See a lot of that. Yeah, this is a PG-13 event. They say don't bring anyone under 13. The only times I've never been too upset about it is when it's like one of our fellow talent and they have a night off and they bring their kids, because their kids are grown up with it. You know, even from a little age. But regular people that don't know our world bringing their little kids, and you know. Double standard, maybe. That one I'll hold on to. I mean, I took my kids to haunted house events starting when they were little. My youngest was still in the stroller. Once my oldest showed interest, I took her. Well, my youngest one was showing interest too, and she had a great time, except for one character scared her, but that'll be another video another time, because that's not even the one I worked at. It's a different one. But yeah, so what else for that year? Yeah, I think that was about it for that one. Oh, I'd lay in that grody ass bathtub and play dead until enough people would walk by, and then I would pop out. Because back then I was a lot skinnier, more agile. It would pop up faster. So, yeah, it was a good time. Next video will be a completely different maze I was in. So, because 2002 was the last year for the Horrorwood maze. It's a little bit of a brief after haunt. That year event happened. Because we also had a show in the main part of the park. There's this big stage outside of the ghost town area, and they used to have a show called The Hanging, which started in the late 70s, because Haunt started in 72, 73, 72. Sorry. But then, like a few years later, once they started adding the mazes and getting bigger and having more, more than just a one weekend event, they started having a show on the stage called The Hanging, where they would hang a witch, but they would parody all kinds of stuff for that year that was going on in pop culture, politics, media, whatever. And then they started, eventually went from hanging a witch to hanging whoever the most idiotic, moronic, stupid person was that year, in media. So it's been like Bieber and popular influencers and the last, once influencing became a bigger thing. And just sometimes it wouldn't even be a person, it'd be an idea. That was stupid that year, I think. But for a while, like I said, my maze was using horror movie themes and monsters. Well, they also used those same monsters plus a few more in the show. We had Freddy, Michael, Jason, etc. Doing their thing. Slashing and dicing and taking names and being funny and all that stuff. Well, I believe it was during 2002. some big wig Hollywood entertainment lawyers, I guess, happened to catch wind of what we were doing. Or maybe some of the studios, I don't know. I guess we were using the characters at the park without permission or whatever. I don't know the whole story. I'm just going off of what I've heard through the grapevine. Anywho, so they had to stop using those. I believe it was a cease and desist. So they had to stop using the characters for the maze and for the show. So the next year they couldn't do that. So 2002 was the end of the Horrorwood Fright Festival. And I'll get into what took its place next video. I wasn't in that same building for the next year. I was in Glitter Maze. They're near the park, but I'll still touch on that too. But a quick end cap to my first 3 years there. Besides my maze, which I'm still a diehard, they need to bring back some form of it kind of thing, even though I know they can't. Hell, I don't think they acknowledge it half the time when it comes to talking about classic mazes. Since they're doing a 50th anniversary thing this year. But there was, like I said, the Underground, which was great, big industrial. They had the soundtrack was bands like Ministry, Nine Inch Nails, possibly Rammstein, maybe some Manson, that kind of stuff. The Vampire Maze, even though we the first couple of years we made fun of it. Great maze, great people. There was one lady in that maze the whole time it ran. She's no longer with us, sadly. But she was, for an older woman, she was gorgeous, she was friendly, she was nice to everybody. I was proud to call her a friend, even a mentor. She was our vampire queen. Even if we weren't in that maze, she was the queen. Everyone loved her. Still do, even though she's no longer with us. And it's thanks to her that I was able to, a couple years later, get to where I wanted to be within the event. Partially up to her, but I'll get to that later. It's come to my attention that in the last video I might have said a few things or mentioned a few things that were internal with us that aren't necessarily a secret, but maybe I should have admitted to. Just in a private conversation with a friend. I was having the other day talking about this channel and everything. So if you have an inkling of what I'm talking about and think I was wrong in bringing that stuff up, let me know. I might go back and redo that video and leave that stuff out before I get too many more viewers or fans or whatever. So you might want to go back and watch the previous videos of this one and try and guess what I'm talking about. Two kind of, well, no, maybe one thing. Maybe two. Anyway, sorry, get comfortable here. Other than that, yeah, I think that wraps it up for that one. So I'll be back next week. Talking about my time in Mangler's Asylum, which was the next maze I was in. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. But anyway, have a great night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Again, do the whole like, subscribe stuff. I try not to push it, but I do appreciate it. Again, I love everybody, each and every one of you. Take care of yourself. Be kind to everybody. Especially in this crazy world we're living in right now. That's why I'm putting these out, to try and give everyone a little reprieve from the madness of the world. In 20 to 30 minute blocks at a time. You know, my lo-fi, unedited, crappy video rambling. Anyway, have a good night. Take care. Bye.